You cannot rebuild wealth until you rebuild character. True freedom and self-respect come from accepting responsibility for one's debts and obligations, because a person who continually makes excuses remains a slave to circumstances, while a person who chooses responsibility begins the journey toward freedom. Opportunity often appears after. Responsibility is accepted, excuses are challenged, character begins to change. Running away does not create happiness. In many great stories, transformation happens at rock bottom. When all comforts disappear, a person discovers what is truly inside them. Character is revealed when comfort disappears. A difficult path with purpose is better than an easy path without direction. A slave mentality says, "My circumstances control me." A free man mentality says, "My choices define me." Success needs character before wealth, responsibility before prosperity, integrity before success. Once a person becomes responsible, better decisions follow, better habits follow, better opportunities follow. People can endure amazing hardship when they have a meaningful goal. The soul of a free man looks at life as a series of problems to be solved and solves them. When your mindset changes, solutions become visible. The trail existed all along, but now the person has the determination to find it. When people focus only on obstacles, they find reasons. When people focus on solutions, they find paths. Character is built by keeping promises. Small, consistent progress beats grand plans. Unknown debt feels larger than known debt. The moment you write everything down, you can begin solving it. There are no shortcuts to repairing financial mistakes. It is easier to pay one's just debts than to avoid them. Not everyone will support your comeback, and that's okay. It is easier to solve a problem than to spend years avoiding it. People care more about honesty and effort than excuses. Success is not built during good months. Success is built during difficult months. Anyone can save when income is high. Few continue when income is low. Consistency is more important than income. Knowledge becomes valuable only when applied. Successful people usually see work as opportunity, value creation, learning, and growth. Wealth is easier to give than wisdom. Money is easier to transfer than character. Opportunity without discipline rarely creates success. A rich parent's biggest challenge is preparing the next generation. Wealth is maintained through effort. The moment effort stops, wealth often begins disappearing. Many people think successful people has secret, special talent and unusual luck. They see the result. They do not see the years of effort behind it. The difference is not usually one decision. The difference is thousands of small decisions, made consistently over decades. Wealth is a direction, not an event. Wealth often comes from good habits, discipline, persistence, learning and taking responsibility, repeated year after year. A small advantage repeated for 40 years becomes enormous. A small mistake repeated for 40 years becomes disastrous. A person who has overcome hardship possesses wisdom money cannot buy. Bad decisions can enslave a person long before physical chains do. Destructive habits often create long-term consequences. A person's current situation does not determine their future. Life is not always fair, but success depends on your response. Shortcuts often lead to long-term setbacks. Skills earned through work are assets nobody can take away. Wealth is usually the result of choices, habits, and perseverance, rather than luck or inheritance. A person's starting position does not determine their future. People who respect work often continue to think and act productively, even in difficult situations. Wealth is frequently built by those who develop discipline and responsibility long before they acquire money. Dwelling on unfairness is less important than finding a way forward. A person's attitude toward work often determines their future more than their present circumstances. When circumstances are harsh, the most valuable question is often not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What can I do right now to improve my position?" Satisfaction comes not from avoiding effort, but from taking pride in accomplishing something worthwhile. A person should focus on the value being created, rather than the difficulty of the task. Continue giving your best, even when appreciation is not immediate. Focus on the result being created, not merely the effort required. Strong work habits build character and opportunity. People who consistently perform quality work develop skills, trust, and opportunities that eventually separate them from those who seek shortcuts or avoid responsibility. You should have adopted a positive attitude toward work. You should present himself as someone willing to learn. You should focus on what he could offer rather than on his problems. People who demonstrate willingness to learn can create opportunities, even when they lack skills. In difficult situations, emphasizing value and effort can open doors that complaints cannot. Learn valuable skills. Look for opportunities, not just tasks. Think like an owner. Instead of asking for favors, propose a mutually beneficial arrangement. People become more valuable when they solve problems, create opportunities, and generate value for others. Enterprise, the habit of taking initiative and creating value, is one of the foundations of wealth. Attitudes toward work often shape future opportunities. Success is not determined primarily by luck or starting position, but by habits, initiative, and the willingness to do useful work well over time. Admiration should be directed toward the effort and character that created success, not merely toward the wealth that resulted from it. Fear and indecision can keep people mentally enslaved, even after they have the means to be free. Success often requires stepping away from security and accepting responsibility for one's own future. A person should be judged not by where they started, but by what they became. Misfortune is not disgrace. Remaining defeated by misfortune is the real tragedy. Freedom first occurred in his mind. Work and disciplined effort create opportunity, while shortcuts and recklessness destroy it. We do not always suffer because of our own mistakes. Sometimes we suffer because of other people's recklessness, economic conditions, bad luck, and circumstances beyond our control. The lesson is not that life is always fair. The lesson is how we respond when life is unfair. The hardest thing about adversity is often not physical suffering. It is losing hope, confidence, purpose, and faith in oneself. Anyone can work hard when progress is visible. The true test is whether a person can continue when circumstances seem hopeless. Character is revealed not when things are easy, but when everything appears to be going wrong. Megiddo never claimed that work would eliminate all suffering. He claimed that work would build character, develop skills, create opportunities, earn trust, and make a person stronger. Hard work is valuable because it transforms the worker into someone capable of achieving success when opportunity finally arrives. Work did not prevent hardship, eliminate bad luck, guarantee comfort. But work did develop his abilities, strengthen his character, earn the respect of others, create opportunities he could not foresee. Work hard, and you will become the kind of person whom opportunities seek out. The rewards of disciplined work often arrive long after the work is done, and sometimes from directions we never expected. You should take work to create value, solve problems, achieving goals. The habits that create success are more valuable than the success itself. Treat work as a friend rather than an enemy, and it can open doors that seem impossible to reach. Wisdom deserves greater respect than wealth. The harder I worked, the more opportunities seemed to appear. Not because work magically creates luck, but because work develops the qualities that allow a person to recognize and seize opportunities when they arise. Mindset is the true treasure of Babylon. Nilkanth closed the book gently and looked at Nand with a calm smile. That, he said, is the true message of the richest man in Babylon. Wealth is not created by luck, inheritance, or sudden opportunity. It is built through discipline, patience, wise decisions, and the habit of keeping a portion of what we earn. The lessons of Babylon have survived for centuries because human nature has not changed. If we learn to save first, invest wisely, seek knowledge, and protect what we build, prosperity becomes a matter of time rather than chance. The gold of Babylon may be gone, but its wisdom remains as valuable today as it was thousands of years ago. As the conversation came to an end, both of them sat quietly for a moment, reflecting on the timeless wisdom they had just discussed. Finishing the last sip of their coffee, Nilkanth and Nand rose from their seats and began their journey home. The sun was slowly setting on the horizon, painting the sky with shades of gold and crimson. As they walked away, they carried with them not only the warmth of the evening, but also the enduring lessons of the richest man in Babylon. Lessons that would guide their thoughts, decisions, and aspirations long after that beautiful sunset had faded into night.